welcome to Incredible Buzz. I'm Chris. And I'm Patty, and today we're going to talk about pet peeves. Everybody has them. Lots of them.
That's for sure.
So what are yours?
I can't even remember what we just talked about. Oh, grammar. That was one of them. Is that one of my pet peeves has always been mistakes in written grammar. Talking, I don't mind that. But it's the written stuff. It's when you have time to look at it and you can figure out which version of to you need or which version of there you need. Because I actually taught college writing for 9 years, but before that is when I would first discovered my addiction to noticing noticing bad grammar. I would find it in newsletters and all these different things, and I'd be like, why would you publish something that would have that many mistakes? I mean, I found some that had a huge amount of mistakes in them, and some people I would notify and some I didn't. I found a mistake on a Quaker oatmeal package. And so I wrote to Quaker Oatmeal, they sent me a $5 coupon for finding their problem for them. Yeah, so it was kind of cute, yeah. So how about you?
Well, let's see. Probably my biggest pet peeve, especially right now, is the media, the spin they put on everything. You know, with all the candidates right now.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And media, don't insult our intelligence, please. We know exactly what's going on, and it's not only is it insulting, it drives me crazy, you know? I mean, I literally have watched some of the debates, and afterwards I've watched the media show a couple videos, you know, one highlighting really wonderful things about one candidate, and then showing nothing but the negative things about the opposing candidate. And it's,
oh yeah.
Come on, I mean, we know what you're doing, so just stop, please.
Well, the funny thing is they can take and edit anything they want and cut it out, and they can make it look either good or bad. The same clip can either be good or bad depending on who's editing it and what kind of spin they want to put on it. Oh yeah, it's just terrible what they can do. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that would be a pet peeve of mine too.
Yeah, I think I hear it's not me, just me, you know, a lot of people we've talked about it and people feel the same way, but you know, on a smaller note, something that I just thought of this, it drives me crazy is when you open up the microwave and it's just full of yuck.
Oh,
I'm
glad you reminded me of that one.
Yeah. And honestly, I probably use a microwave like 2 or 3 times a year. Seriously. So I don't see it. But once in a blue moon, when I open it up to maybe heat something up, it
was like when it was at work and stuff, you mean, or something?
Horrible. Well, actually, a few years back when I was living with my daughter, that was one example.
Yeah.
Who used it all the time. And it's like, seriously, how you don't even want to put anything in it, you know?
Well, I know, and see now for mine, my son was doing that, where he would put stuff in there and not cover it. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that was my pet peeve, because the thing is if you put something in the microwave, cover it up. And if you forget to cover it up and it splatters, wipe it right away, because you make it a lot of work for the next person that wants it clean.
Which, by the way, in case you don't know, if anybody out there doesn't know, there's a really simple way to clean the microwave. You just heat a bowl of water.
Yeah.
Fill up a bowl of water and
let the steam go
high for 3 or 4 minutes, and let that sit in there for 10 or 15 minutes after it shuts off.
That's a good advice.
It wipes right out. It's really helps a lot. But yeah, that's a pet peeve. That's a little one, but
well, and see, and that's just consideration on the part of the other person, because if something splatters, just wipe it off. I mean, it's not. There's no need for it to start growing in there. So I like that's a good one.
If this is our biggest worries, I mean, big deal. But it's one of those little things that
that's why they call them pet peeves, because they really bug the heck out of you.
Yeah.
So another one we talked about was bite. You know, you were talking about car doors opening up in front of you on the street.
When you live in a city like ours, where there's very old, really narrow streets, where there's cars parked on both sides, and you can barely get a car through the center, and all of a sudden, a car door comes flying open right in front of you. Peek out before you open your door, please. I mean, it happens all the time, and I kind of almost watch for it, which is why most of the time I've always been able to just stop and almost see it coming. But you know, that's a no-brainer. You know, hello, don't slide the car door open in the middle of the street.
Well, it's hard to see it coming too, because if somebody's in the car and you don't know if they're getting out or not, you're not going to be prepared for them whipping that door open and stuff. But see, now that fits
that's a little thing, but
that fits my pet peeve too, because of the narrow streets and stuff. Bikers, pedal bikers. Because bike riders, you know, I'm so afraid I'm going to hit somebody and knock them over, and you know, I don't quite know what to do when I've got a biker in front of me, I got a car coming in front of me, you know, and it's like you can't pass them, you can't, you know, so,
Mhm.
so it's just a pet peeve of mine,
There's
you
not a
know.
lot of room, and
Yeah.
yeah, that is a concern, you don't wanna hit anybody, and,
Well, and in a way, I understand because some people ride their bikes to work and stuff, so they're trying to be, you know, better
it's,
for the
riding bikes is a
ecology and
good
all
thing,
that
I like
stuff.
to
And,
ride
yeah.
my bike too, it's nothing against bike riders or riding bikes, we don't wanna hurt anybody, and these streets are just not, some of them anyway, are really not conducive to a
Well,
bicycle and a car at the same time.
and then if you put it together, somebody opens a car door and there's a bike going by and the bike swings out. I mean, and you're coming toward them. I mean, there's all kinds of, you know, in my mind, it's like all these things that could go wrong. And I just
True.
worry about the bikers. So I'm so
Yeah.
afraid I'm going to knock somebody over.
Right.
Was an EMT for so many years and stuff, and we had sometimes where that would happen. And even one time we had two bikers were riding and one bumped the other's tire and flipped him over, and we ended up having to take somebody into the ambulance.
Wow.
So I mean, so bikers just scare me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So.
I think something a little, not such a tiny pet peeve, but passive aggressive people.
Explain that.
Well, it's like people are trying to, they have a problem or an issue with you, but rather than just confronting it openly and just saying, hey, please don't do this, or this bothers me, they act like it doesn't bother them, and then in some passive way, they like slam you or intimidate you or something. But they were just kidding. That's another thing.
Oh, yeah.
They
just
do
kidding.
something to you, they embarrass you, or they do something to hurt you, and then they say, but I'm only kidding. I was just kidding, but it's already
And
done.
you know
the
better.
damage is
yeah,
already
you know
done.
they weren't just kidding.
Yeah,
That's the worst
but
part.
that's probably not the best example, but you know when it's happening. It happens to everybody, and the thing is, we know what you're doing, so just stop doing it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a psychologist to see when someone is being passive aggressive. There's a lot of people that, might not even realize they are, but if someone is bothering you, just in a very nice way, you could just say, please stop doing that. I mean, I had someone tell me one time that I hum when I'm working, which I didn't know I did. And she said it really bothered her, would I please not hum while I'm working? And I said, of course I'll stop. I'm sorry, I didn't even realize I was doing it.
So that was a better way for her to handle it than to just try to do something to get you to stop humming. Turn up the radio
do
or
something
whatever.
instead, some kind of insult you or try to embarrass you, around a group of other people in a way that brings it to the attention of people around you, but in kind of a condescending or intimidating way. But they're taking themselves off the hook, like, oh, well, I didn't mean it that way. I was just kidding or something.
Yeah.
No, you weren't, but that's
Well, that's kind of like the
whatever.
Oh, did I say that out loud? It's kind of like they said it and then they try to backpedal out of it, and try to cover their tracks. But so now, as far as the pet peeves go, I looked it up on the internet just a little bit ago, and I found one that listed 76 pet peeves. So it was kind of funny. It was it had this whole list of some were kind of cute, some were dumb, some were things that a lot of people, there's a lot of people that don't like chalk on the chalkboard
and the nail biting and things like
and stuff
that. Those
like
are
that.
the ones that you always hear about.
Yeah.
Just that a lot of people must not like those, and people who chew with their mouth open. And
So those are all that a lot of people have. One I discovered that I have, and of course it's, I let somebody rent a room in my house, and it was a relative, and she was taking my food, and so I discovered that was a pet peeve when I go to open up my ice cream and there's no ice cream left, or go to make some macaroni and there's no macaroni
like the college
left.
roommate syndrome.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's exactly
I've
what it
read
was like.
they argue a lot about food, so.
Yeah, and I had heard that too. They said it's probably better if best friends don't move in together, because when they, a lot of times they fight over the boyfriend eating all the food, or the, or somebody.
Well, even that goes way beyond that. I think I agree with that, best friends, that not living together, because living with someone's a whole different ballgame.
Oh yeah.
And it can introduce problems into the relationship that don't have to be there.
So it depends on the relationship, but that kind of gets away from our pet peeve thing. But that might be a whole nother Incredible Buzz show.
Roommates,
that might be a good one. So.
that'd be interesting.
But I imagine we're probably just about out of time, so I'm thinking
Of
that maybe we
course.
should call it quits this time, because we've always got something to talk about the next time. So just remember to look for www.incrediblebuzz.com to see all of our shows and some of our side things that we do. We have some cute side things that we've done too.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a commercial, some commercials and things like that, so it's kind of fun. So
We're
anyway,
having fun.
we're out of time, and we want to remind you that life should be an incredible buzz.